What is confusing for me is that I don't see the deal breakers between Kody and Christine. But I don't mean to cast judgment.
This is GlowGossips USA, and today's story will leave you speechless. If you're sitting down, stay there, because what just happened has shaken the entire sister wives world to its core. A scandal so dark, so unthinkable, is unraveling before our eyes, and it centers around none other than Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. Fans across the country are in disbelief as both Kody and Robyn have reportedly been arrested in connection with a federal child trafficking investigation. Yes, you heard that right. The very faces that once stood as symbols of plural family unity are now entangled in a case that's triggered an avalanche of pain, betrayal, and horror for everyone who ever trusted them. What began as vague whispers across forums and dark corners of social media has now exploded into mainstream chaos. First came the online rumors, scattered Reddit posts, cryptic tips, hushed speculation about strange happenings at Coyote Pass. Then came leaked documents, unconfirmed at first, but chilling enough to gain traction. And now we're staring at video footage, yes, actual video, of Kody and Robyn being handcuffed and escorted into custody. The footage, raw and shocking, has spread like wildfire, leaving longtime Sister Wives fans stunned and sick to their stomachs. Though official details remain scarce due to the sensitivity of the investigation, multiple sources say this arrest wasn't a sudden move. It was the result of months, maybe even years, of quiet surveillance. Allegedly, federal authorities began following a trail of suspicious financial activity, strange legal guardianship filings, and questionable adoption patterns linked to Robyn and Kody. The deeper they dug, the darker the picture became. While no public statement has yet outlined the full charges, insiders close to the investigation claim that this case could include child trafficking, conspiracy across state lines, abuse of guardianship laws, and obstruction of justice. These are not minor accusations. They're federal crimes with devastating implications. For those who thought Kody's manipulations were limited to emotional games within his marriages, this news reveals something far more sinister. It has left Mary and Janelle, who've long endured and witnessed Kody's manipulative patterns, completely blindsided. They thought they'd seen the worst of Kody's behavior, but this was beyond imagination. Janelle, always the practical one, reportedly broke down sobbing after hearing the news. She'd stayed with Kody for the sake of her children, trying to hold on to some semblance of family. But nothing prepared her for this. Her heartbreak is reportedly overwhelming, because now it's not just emotional abuse, it's something criminal, something evil. Mary, too, is said to be in deep shock. Having recently stepped away from the family and trying to reclaim her independence, she now feels crushed by the realization that she may have been manipulated even more deeply than she knew. Her trust in Robyn, already fragile, has completely shattered. Fans who've long accused Robyn of being the secret puppet master now feel vindicated, but no one ever guessed she might be involved in something this terrifying. Robyn always portrayed herself as the gentle mother, the soft-spoken peacemaker. But behind closed doors, sources now allege she wielded control with subtle, calculated power. She used her children, her charm, her so-called victimhood, and built a public image carefully tailored for the cameras. But behind that lens, according to some insiders, there was a much darker manipulation at play. Fans have begun replaying old TLC footage with new, horrified eyes, especially scenes of Robyn surrounded by younger children, comforting them, guiding them, holding their trust. What was once seen as motherly compassion is now being questioned. Was it real? Or was it a part of a cover-up so elaborate it fooled millions? The biggest question now is this: what did TLC know? And when did they know it? As federal investigators reportedly examine unaired footage, old production contracts, and behind-the-scenes documents, fans are demanding accountability from the network that filmed it all. If these crimes were brewing under the surface, how could no one on set notice? Why were cameras still rolling season after season, featuring children in emotionally volatile situations? Christine, who once saw the show as a platform to share her truth and eventually escape Kody's grip, is now finding herself dragged back into the nightmare. After finding happiness with David Woolley and finally creating a peaceful, independent life, Christine now feels like her past is
She thought was in this, but it was...
Because she loved you?
No, she was attracted to me. I know she wasn't in love with me.
is crashing through the door. Sources say she is devastated, not just for herself, but for her children and grandchildren. She feels betrayed on every level, confused and frightened by the possibility that she may have unknowingly participated in a story that concealed so much more pain than she ever imagined. The betrayal is personal, and it's deeply maternal. According to one insider, Christine's anxiety has spiked dramatically. She can barely sleep. Every time she looks at a family photo, she wonders if danger was lurking in the background, all along. Her daughter, Mykelti, is reportedly cooperating with authorities, having harbored doubts and suspicions for years, though never having the evidence to speak up publicly. And Gwendolyn? She didn't hold back. The ever-blunt, fiercely independent daughter took to social media immediately with a message that read like a dagger to the heart. Told you. No one listened. Fans flooded her comment section, some apologizing, others expressing guilt, and many sharing their own stories of ignoring red flags in toxic families. It's clear now that Christine's pain isn't just about the public shame or the headlines. It's about the realization that she might have trusted people who were capable of something truly horrifying. That her children might have been put at risk. That her silence, her cooperation with the show, even her efforts to keep the peace for the sake of the family, all of it may have enabled something monstrous. Outside the Brown family, the fallout is growing fast. The entire Flagstaff community is buzzing, with some former friends of the Browns avoiding reporters, and others speaking out in hushed tones. Even within the broader polygamous community, there's a wave of reckoning. People are beginning to ask hard questions about what happens when spiritual authority is paired with unchecked power. What happens when a man like Kody, charismatic and controlling, is allowed to make all the rules? There's fear now, and rightly so. Investigators are said to be digging into old real estate deals, financial accounts, and even TLC's contracts with the family. Some believe the network may have protected the Browns with legal clauses that shielded them from scrutiny. But if they turned a blind eye to warning signs, legal heat may soon land on their doorstep too. As the dust begins to settle, all eyes turn to Kody. His downfall no longer a matter of emotional collapse, but possibly criminal ruin.
What are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. So they're nagging me, which is great because I just got 2 ex-wives who are total nags.
According to sources close to the investigation, Kody Brown claimed during his arrest that everything was a massive misunderstanding. But those words rang hollow. Just days before he was taken into custody, law enforcement had reportedly raided his residence, seizing boxes of sensitive documents. Among them were papers signed by Robyn, documents that raised immediate red flags. These weren't ordinary forms. They were guardianship papers related to children who, by blood, were not hers. That revelation alone sent shockwaves through the legal team. It opened a terrifying door into the inner workings of the Brown family's custody arrangements, especially during the Las Vegas to Flagstaff move and the strange legal maneuvers following Robyn's bitter divorce from her first husband. That very divorce had enabled Kody to formally adopt Robyn's children, a move once celebrated on the show but now cast in a far more sinister light. The arrests weren't random. They were the result of deliberate, targeted investigation. And when Robyn was placed in handcuffs, she reportedly broke down entirely. No words, just uncontrollable sobbing. She didn't speak to the press. She didn't ask for an attorney. She simply fell apart. For fans who had long doubted her, it was confirmation that something terrible had been hiding beneath her carefully composed television persona. As the case unfolds, it's not just the law that's turning against the Browns. Their own family is unraveling. Some of the adult children have gone silent, while others have begun purging their social media of any trace of Kody. Photos are disappearing. Captions are changing. And then there are the cryptic messages. Single-word statements like truth, healing, and accountability. Pedon and Leon are reportedly already in talks with lawyers, possibly as witnesses or cooperating, parties in the broader investigation. The emotional collapse inside the family is staggering. What was once a story of plural love and unity has turned into a harrowing parable about control, deception, and unchecked power. This isn't just a family scandal, it's a national one. And with charges reportedly pending in multiple jurisdictions, custody of the remaining minor children remains unclear. No one knows where they'll end up. And for Mary, Janelle, and Christine, this may just be the beginning of a long, painful reckoning. The quiet street where Kody and Robyn once played house turned into a crime scene lit with flashing police lights. Neighbors stood frozen as reality sank in. The rumors they had dismissed as social media gossip had now transformed into national news. Kody Brown, once a proud patriarch on television, once the face of a controversial but legal lifestyle, was now being led out in handcuffs, his face dazed, his posture defeated. Robyn clutched a young child tightly, sobbing uncontrollably, her tears painting a picture of desperation. Some saw it as genuine heartbreak. Others called it performative, an attempt to salvage the image of the loving mother in the final moments before the truth swallowed everything whole. Either way, the illusion was gone. Behind the cameras and the curated family dynamics, investigators had reportedly discovered sealed court records, falsified adoptions, illegal custody transfers, and a trail of deceit that reached far beyond Flagstaff. This wasn't just sloppiness or bad parenting. It was calculated, intentional, evil. There were whispers now, quiet, chilling mentions of links to international trafficking. And the deeper investigators go, the more it seems the Browns were not victims of circumstance, but knowing participants in something truly horrific. For Mary and Janelle, the emotional toll has been unbearable. Despite years of tension and betrayal, they never imagined this. Both women had slowly drifted from Kody over the years, disillusioned by his favoritism toward Robyn and tired of his emotional gaslighting. But this wasn't favoritism. This wasn't abandonment. This was criminal. This was unforgivable. Mary reportedly suffered a full-blown panic attack when the news broke and had to be hospitalized. She kept repeating the same phrase over and over. I didn't know. Her world, already fragile, had completely collapsed. Janelle, long the steady hand in the chaos, finally cracked. A leaked message from the family group chat showed her reaching her breaking point. He lied to us all, she reportedly wrote. This wasn't just cheating or leaving us behind. This is evil, and we let it grow under our roof. Her words cut deeper than anything fans had ever heard from her before. The betrayal was complete. It had poisoned every corner of their past and cast shadows on their future. But no one, perhaps, is suffering more than Christine. This woman, who had endured years of emotional abandonment and public humiliation, had finally clawed her way back to happiness. With David Woolley, she had found new love, new peace, and a new sense of self. She became a symbol for women everywhere, who chose to walk away from toxic relationships and build again. But when she heard the news of Kody and Robyn's arrest, something inside her shattered. Neighbors say Christine collapsed in her own driveway, screaming and crying, inconsolable. It's over, she allegedly cried. Everything I built, my family, my faith, my story, it's all a lie. Her foundation, the one she had worked so hard to rebuild, had been demolished in seconds. The idea that her children may have been anywhere near this kind of danger, let alone used or manipulated, was too much to bear. Her daughters were equally devastated. One of them, through tears, reportedly whispered, "I want to change my name." The statement, heartbreaking, in its raw honesty, summed up the pain that now grips the entire Brown family like a vice. The psychological trauma runs deep, and it doesn't stop with the family. TLC, caught in the center of the media firestorm, moved fast to distance itself from the scandal. Within hours, the network released an official statement saying all filming was suspended indefinitely and that they had no prior knowledge of any wrongdoing. But off camera, former production staff are beginning to speak out. Some claim they were always uncomfortable with the dynamic inside the Brown home. Others describe how Robyn allegedly wielded enormous influence, far more than viewers were led to believe. One former crew member admitted they were told not to include certain children in scenes. Another questioned why some family members mysteriously disappeared from episodes without explanation. These questions, once brushed off as editing choices, now feel like part of a larger, calculated attempt to hide something. The more people talk, the more the story spirals. What was once reality television now reads like a criminal dossier. The arrests have opened a floodgate. Investigators are combing through old footage, questioning former friends, and pulling up legal records from every state the Browns have lived in. What started as a televised family experiment is now a federal case with national eyes watching every twist and turn. And for the fans, the betrayal is personal. They welcomed the Browns into their homes for over a decade, believing they were witnessing a messy but genuine attempt at family. Now, that trust is shattered, replaced by horror and disbelief. This story is no longer about polygamy. It's about justice. It's about children. And it's about holding people accountable, no matter how charming they appeared on camera. This is GlowGossips USA, and what you're about to hear is not just another twist in the sister wives saga. This is a haunting unraveling of a family once praised for love and faith, now drowning in betrayal, fear, and federal indictments. The quiet streets of Flagstaff shattered when police lights pierced the night outside the Brown family home. In a moment that no fan ever expected, Kody Brown and Robyn, his so-called favorite wife, were both arrested in an ongoing federal child trafficking probe. What started as whispers on Reddit has exploded into national headlines. According to sources, Kody explained to police at the time of his arrest that this was all a misunderstanding. But those close to the case say otherwise. Authorities had raided his residence days earlier, uncovering a trove of disturbing documents. Among them were signed papers from Robyn, cryptic guardianship agreements involving children who weren't biologically hers. That alone raised major red flags. When Robyn was taken into custody, she collapsed into tears, silent, refusing to speak or request legal help for hours. To those who had always suspected her influence in the family was manipulative, it was a chilling confirmation. Followers of the show long questioned how custody was handled, especially during the family's move from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, and following Robyn's divorce from her ex-husband, which allowed Kody to adopt her children. But now, that carefully laid legal web is unraveling fast. Adult Brown children have begun scrubbing their social media clean, removing photos with Kody and posting cryptic messages like truth, healing, and accountability. Insiders claim Peden and Leon are now lawyering up. The family once, united under plural marriage, is now crumbling under legal fire. The fairy tale image sister wives painted is gone. TLC fans who laughed, cried, and grew with the Browns were left reeling as Kody, handcuffed, was led from his home, Robyn sobbing behind him. It was real. It was horrifying. And it was just the beginning. Behind closed doors, investigators allegedly uncovered a dark paper trail. Sealed court records, falsified adoptions, undocumented custody transfers, and whispers of an international trafficking link. This wasn't an accident. Authorities believe it was deliberate. Mary and Janelle, long skeptical of Robyn's hold over Kody, were blindsided. Mary reportedly suffered a panic attack and had to be hospitalized, mumbling the same broken sentence. I didn't know. Janelle, the steady one, the rational sister wife, cracked. In a leaked family chat, she wrote, "This wasn't cheating or betrayal. This is evil, and we let it grow in our house." But Christine, the one who had already rebuilt her life with David Woolley, may have been hurt most. She had escaped Kody's manipulation, risen from emotional isolation, and protected her kids fiercely. But when she heard the news, she collapsed, crying in her driveway. Her voice broken, she told neighbors, "It's all a lie. Everything I believed, my faith, my family, it's over." Her daughters were devastated. One even screamed, "I want to change my name." As TLC quickly cut ties and canceled production, former crew members started speaking out. One revealed how Robyn controlled everything, how certain kids were rarely shown on camera, and how filming was often restricted around unexplained family absences. Meanwhile, Reddit theories turned into front-page headlines. The FBI is now working, alongside state agencies, to map the full scope of the Browns' hidden dealings. It gets worse. Forensic accountants have begun dissecting Robyn's sealed financial records, shell LLCs, and suspicious offshore payments labeled guardianship stipends. This isn't just television drama anymore. This is a criminal investigation on a national scale. Family insiders say the Brown children are shattered. Some have gone no contact. Others are hiding. Biden released a haunting video saying, "I knew something was wrong, but not this." Gwen, one of the most vocal siblings, posted online, vowing to testify against Kody and Robyn if needed. The world is listening. Hashtags like "Char Kody Brown trafficking" and "Justice for the kids" are flooding timelines. Even former polygamists are speaking out, calling for legislative reform, for change, for an end to the secrecy and unchecked power that allowed this nightmare to thrive. Christine has reportedly canceled all interviews. In one final post, she begged fans, "Please don't celebrate this. This isn't drama, it's tragedy. My heart is gone." Still, it wasn't over. The investigation reached a disturbing new level when federal agents uncovered a personal journal in Robyn's closet, filled with twisted writings about rehoming children, energy extraction from disobedient spirits, and handwritten pages, so dark that forensic labs had to chemically treat them to read the redacted ink. What they found sent chills down prosecutors' spines. There were allusions to spiritually guiding children to more worthy families, whatever that meant. Investigators say Robyn also had ties to a now-defunct nonprofit that claimed to rehome kids from dysfunctional polygamous households. But financial records tell a different story. Money routed through offshore accounts in Beas and the Cayman Islands under the label Family Transition Stipends. When Mary was told these transfers happened while she was living on the same property, she collapsed. Through sobs, she told a friend, "They used our name, they used our children, and Robyn, she built the whole thing." Janelle took to Instagram in a raw, emotional live stream that reached 18 million views in days. "I don't know what hurts more," she said, her voice shaking, "that the man I believed in is gone, or that the woman I defended is a monster." Christine's silence only deepened the grief. Friends say she's barely functioning. It was Christine's daughter Isabel who found out first, via TikTok. She thought it was fake until she saw the video. Her father in cuffs, Robyn in a patrol car. She broke down. The rest of the family followed. Some adult children have since come forward anonymously, giving testimony to prosecutors. One said, "There were friends we had as kids who just vanished." Another remembered late-night visitors for spiritual sessions. But perhaps the most chilling? A sibling who recalled Robyn whispering, "Don't ask about the basement guests. Just pray for them. They're being moved to something greater." The case is massive. With charges of trafficking, conspiracy, fraud, and obstruction, legal experts say Kody and Robyn could face 25 years or more in federal prison. Still, a small online group calling themselves Free the True Spiritual Leaders raised $80,000 in a GoFundMe before it was shut down, clinging to the illusion of their innocence. But the illusion is dead. TLC has canceled all reruns. Sponsors are pulling out, and even the show's finale footage is being reviewed for possible criminal evidence. One never-aired clip reportedly shows Robyn claiming she was chosen to protect abandoned spirits. Editors said, watching it after her arrest made them feel physically ill. The entire Brown legacy is in ruins. Their properties are frozen. Book deals canceled. Janelle's cooking brand removed from shelves. Mary's retreats now viewed with suspicion. One ex-fan summed it up in a comment that echoed across social media. "We believed in them. Now we wonder if we were watching a family or a crime ring." And the worst part? The children. Over a dozen kids are in therapy, some refusing to leave their rooms, others asking heartbreaking questions like, "Is Dad going to take me away too?" Christine, Mary, and Janelle have now lawyered up, not just to protect the kids, but to file civil suits against Kody and Robyn. Christine's petition is especially powerful, over 200 pages of emotional abuse and financial manipulation. One line stood out, "He never needed chains to trap us. He just needed silence and faith. And now I see how deadly that was." The final chapter of this story hasn't been written yet, but one thing is certain. What began as a story of faith and family has turned into a haunting cautionary tale of power, spiritual distortion, and unfathomable betrayal. Kody and Robyn Brown may spend the rest of their lives behind bars. But for the children, and for the millions who watched believing in love, this isn't just a scandal. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.